So, this is the Samsung Galaxy S10. Honestly, this is a great device. However, with competition getting tougher and tougher, the question simply becomes, has Samsung played it too safe with this device? Let's find out in this review after me using it for about 2 months. But before we dive into this review, I quickly want to thank my sponsor called Skillshare. Now Skillshare, if you don't know it, is a website where you can follow various of courses. Anything you can think of creatively is basically on that website. This includes what I do as well. So for instance, 3D modeling, 3D animation, After Effects, Adobe, Illustrator, anything you can think of when it comes to the creative side of things that I do, you can follow on there. Even lighting, which is probably something that I should take a course of as well, which I probably will, and After Effects and animation. Anyway, on Skillshare you can actually do this, and the first 500 people that use the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial on Skillshare. Then you can check out if 3D modeling and 3D animation is something that you actually enjoy. Anyway, thank you again Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and be sure to check the link in the description and find out if it's something you enjoy. So, the Samsung Galaxy S10, this is a great device with good specifications, but I kinda don't want to focus on this in general. I feel with current phones, even more so with flagships, the devices simply have good specifications. So while I will shortly mention the specifications if the story needs it, I want to dive more in the use of the phone in long term. Not to mention that you probably have seen all the reviews about the device already. But to shortly mention, there are some upgrades apart from the new CPU, which is either the Snapdragon 855 or the Exynos 9820. The Samsung Galaxy S10 has a bump up with memory with 8GB for the lowest version. However, with the E version you will get 6GB of RAM. And with the ceramic version you can get up to 12GB of RAM and 1TB of memory, which is just mental. Next to that, you have a much bigger battery compared to the previous S series, with having a 4100 mAh battery on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So, let's dive into the use of the phone. And honestly, the Samsung Galaxy S10 is a fine device. I love the display and the colors of it. It gets really bright, and next to that, watching content on it is a joy. Though we do have to deal with a cutout. For myself, I'm not the biggest fan of any obtrusion on the display itself. It just doesn't look as clean as a display with no cutouts or terrible notches. But to give Samsung some credit, it does look without a doubt better than the notch itself, and Samsung also somewhat uses that cutout. For instance, when you switch to the selfie camera, there will be a light around the camera itself. Pretty fun and small detail, so yeah. But the first thing I want to talk about with the Samsung Galaxy S10 are the software changes. Now previously Samsung used the skin on top of Android called Samsung Experience. This didn't change. Samsung still uses a skin on top of Android, which I'm completely fine with. However, it is now called One UI. However, there are some big changes coming with this software change, both good and bad. For one, the experience on this device from day-to-day use is smooth. And yes, lags hasn't been a thing for a while on Samsung devices in my own experience, but it feels more responsive than before, and overall the skin does look cleaner, and that might be the reason why. However, it does come at a cost. For myself, I find that this new skin called One UI doesn't work that well for me. The biggest issue that I have with it is finding the applications. Before it was easy to distinguish the apps, or well, easier. But because of One UI, I find it harder and harder to find the app that I want to use. This makes it often that I scroll past it. And for me, that makes that the previous version, while not feeling as smooth, was the better skin on top of Android for me. Again, I don't mind Samsung skins, but I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to One UI. I just find it harder to find my applications. And while One UI is meant to be focusing more on one-handed use, I find it really odd how when I slide down, the settings don't appear, but the applications do. It makes no sense for me, and in one-handed use that would make a lot more sense if those settings would appear instead of me having to go to the top of the display and then slide it down for the settings. But let's talk about battery life. Now I have the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus version with a 4100 mAh battery inside, which is slightly larger than the 4000 mAh that I have on my Note 9. But to be fair, I really don't notice much of a difference. Battery life, though it's fine, doesn't wow me, but that might be down to me having the Exynos version and not the Snapdragon version. From what I've seen, the Snapdragon version does perform better when it comes to battery life and camera, but we'll get to that. But overall, the 4100 mAh battery doesn't really impress me on the Exynos version. It does last me through the day easily though, but I feel like it could have been better for some reason. And then let's talk about the camera. Now the Samsung Galaxy S10, as you can see, comes with an extra camera. This extra camera gives us an option of a super wide angle shot, and I love to have this option. Having a wide angle lens just makes a lot of sense on your phone, and I think this is really a good wide angle lens. Though because it's such a wide angle lens, it does come with some distortion. But I do find it nice that you can decide how wide you want it to be, because you can use the zoom function to somewhat limit the wide angle. Simple but efficient. And it's also nice to see that Samsung fixes some of the issues that I have with the camera. For one, right now it uses the main lens to capture the depth of field, and that is a much better lens, and it results in pictures that don't have a blown out sky. I can see what is going on behind the subject, and that was a big must for me. Next to that, in low light pictures have become much less yellow, which is something Samsung really needed to work at. But while overall these improvements are good, there are still some issues. For one, the exposure is still a problem. Objects can still look blown out, where you simply lose detail because of it. And the same counts for the contrast. While it goes for a realistic approach, it would be nice to have some contrast to make some shots look nicer. But there is one type of shot that Samsung really is good at. It is flower shots. I don't know why, but flower shots really look good on the Samsung Galaxy S10. The depth looks natural and it just looks pleasing to look at. But with that being said, some of those things that I mentioned before are again fixed on the Snapdragon version. I've seen samples from Pixel Peeper, link in the description, where you can see the difference in sharpness of the images and also the exposure itself. It's not perfect, but it's better. I would advise you to check that video out yourself as well. So while overall I like the camera on the Samsung Galaxy S10, it does still need work. Also a better night mode. And yes, I have the new version, though I feel like people lately focus way too much on low light and forget that most of the time that you are taking pictures is in normal daylight. But that is neither here or there. But I kinda want to end this video with somewhat of a roundup. The Samsung Galaxy S10 is a good device for me. It covers the basics really well, and that is something Samsung has done well for a long time. Does it make it a bit boring as a device? Yes, but also it makes it feel like it is reliable. And overall the headphone jack and the micro SD on it is just a big deal for me, and I really don't know why companies keep removing it. Well, I do, it's because of money and, well, people simply eat it up. But still, I feel like adding those things is really important. And then the fingerprint scanner as well. This is new technology where it uses a sonic wave that reflects your finger and it unlocks your device. This is what Samsung has been waiting for. Instead of rushing into it and using the optical fingerprint scanner, they straight went for the better option if you ask me. The 3D sonic scanner is more secure and works during rain as well, for example, where the optical one will easily struggle. Not to mention that it's more secure. Either way, the fingerprint scanner works well and consistent for me. So, what do I think after using the Samsung Galaxy S10 for about 2 months? Well, it's a good device, and if you came from the Samsung Galaxy S8, this without a doubt is a worthy upgrade. But if you come from the S9, I don't feel like you should upgrade. While there are some clear advantages to the Samsung Galaxy S10, I don't see enough of those where I feel like this is a huge benefit over the Samsung Galaxy S9. So, what do you think about the Samsung Galaxy S10? Let me know in the comments below, and of course don't forget to leave a like. And again, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Do check the link in below and sign up for your free trial if you are one of the first 500 people to start your courses as well. It would help the channel out a lot if you did. Either way, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.